Hi everybody, how are you doing today? I hope everybody is doing well. Now, I've been, again, all day writing notes, trying to keep up, to keep ahead of the game, to keep you guys, going and going and going, and not having much breaks in between because I have to catch up. So I've been staying ahead for you guys. I did have company down, and I had to take a break. I apologize, but I'm going to try to bang some extra ones out this week and catch up. Now, I've been going nonstop all day today, trying to stay ahead of the game. My eyes are tired, and for those of you that don't know, I do need glasses. It is getting dark, and so I want to go ahead and get started so that my vision stays good. I'm going to go back a little bit just to go over the last maybe paragraph so that you don't have to look back at the last video to see where we left off and pick up from there. Okay, so let me kind of look back from here. This is where I left off. Okay, I'll start here. The Chancellor canceled unemployment support in a big, desperate move. That just made everything worse. More chancellors came and went. Nobody knew what to do with this mess. People were losing faith in democracy, which of course that's what the Cabal wanted. So they got what they wanted. And it says, music to the ears of the Cabal, and sought help. In other words, the people sought help from the extreme left, the communists, or the extreme right, which gave them the chance to sneak the Nazis in, or somebody to lead the Nazis and take control. So, the extreme right, the Nazis, and then that's where we left off. And of course, we all know through history exactly who that Nazi was. And so when the people sought help, no matter what they picked, it was going to be a bad outcome. But of course, the Cabal had the power to push forward the person that they wanted to use as a pawn, or their, person that they thought would do what they needed done. So in January 1933, Hitler became Chancellor of Germany. Although he had a majority of seats in Parliament, he did not have the absolute power he desired. Conveniently, only 4 weeks later, and I hope I say this right, Reichstag, I don't know how to pronounce that, Reichstag, with her accent, it was very hard, but it's Reichstag, Reichstag. Again, it's in another language, so I don't know how to say it properly. The home of the German Parliament in Berlin was set on fire. Allegedly set on fire by the communists. Hitler used the event to persuade President Hindenburg to pass an emergency act restricting personal liberties. The act abolished freedom of speech, privacy. Let me look at my notes here. Let me just go on and then I'll go into that. Privacy, assembly, and the press. So all of our freedoms, just like here, our free speech, our privacy, our right to assemble, and the press were abolished. And I wrote here, and I have a lot of little notes and scribbles, so I'm going to tell you about it. Paul von Hindenburg, 1847 to 1934, emergency decree for the perfection of the German people. Protection of the German people. I have so many scribbles and my eyes are not focusing because it's getting dark. So you're going to have to excuse my errors. Emergency decree for the protection of the German people. And then I will start back over here. It abolished the right to property and the right to trial before imprisonment. It legalized phone tapping and interception of correspondence. The decree was used as the legal basis for the imprisonment of anyone considered to be opponents of the Nazis. People could be arrested or imprisoned for anything or nothing. And then I wrote over here, and you don't think this could happen again? I think it's supposed to say, or they wouldn't do anything like this again? Are you kidding me? They already are, just slower, so you don't notice or see it coming. Wake up. So if they, and those noises are my seat because I got my feet up, sorry. Trying to get comfortable. So again, people think that they are not going to ever take our rights. They were conspiracy theorists and this and that and the other. They've already started doing things like this. And actually, I wanted to start this video out today. And I was so busy, I didn't want to take away from this. But I'm going to talk about it real quick. 2 different news reports that I wanted to put out. One, a judge just handled a court hearing for 2 people suing, I believe, or trying to sue, I think it was Fox News, because of defamation of character and saying they are all for the Democrats and da-da-da-da. Again, yes, we see with anyone who's in the White House, whether they're Democrat or Republican, whoever the people that want to do the news reporting on favor or have control of them at the time, they are going to favor. Okay? And that, again, is not because it's Republican or Democrat. It's whoever the cabal is allowing to run things at the time. So let's just skip the Democrat part. But that's the part that they will use to get people on their side. And why? Because it's not about them being on the Democrat side. It's about after the hearing and him saying, well, because of the protection on the news, I really can't do anything, but we need to look back, just like they gave a date and time of the New York Times and this happening before, and we need to, put a stop to all this news stuff. It isn't about the Democrats, the Republicans, or the news, okay? It's about wanting to stop us from putting out news. Because his term he used was, the news is now dangerous. People shouldn't be able to put whatever they want to on the news or have their own opinions on what they put out there on the news. So again, you see the little loophole and what they're using to try to get people to say, yeah, we got to stop the news. We got to stop them from being able to be one-sided and go after Democrats. No, they're trying to take our right to put out news, which all of us are news people. Anybody with a camera and a channel is a news person. And news is getting dangerous for them because we are spreading this word. Do you get that? So don't believe, again, the fake news and what they're putting out there about the one-sided democratic news, and it's dangerous. Now, it's only dangerous because we are saying what needs to be said to open doors and put the light, shine the light right on who it really needs to be shined on, and that is the cabal. They already have control of the news. They don't care what's going out on it. What they care about is stopping us from being able to say the truth. Learn that, accept that, and get that so that you don't fall into the sheep mentality of following and saying, yeah, stop the news. Then say goodbye to your channels and your favorite channels and the channels that bring you the truth. Because it's not about the fake news, it's about our news. Number one. Number two, I just got one today about Biden wanting to pass a law to stop guns. All because of the shooting in Colorado. Forget about all the other shootings. Just the one in Colorado. And there's been plenty of shootings here in Florida, trust me. But the one in Colorado. And we're going back to the automatic weapons, which I kind of agree. People don't need them, but they have the right to have them. Now, I don't care if they shoot an automatic weapon or a regular weapon. It's going to hurt people the same way. It's not going to make a difference. You just pull the trigger more times. You don't have to hold it down. My mind is so gone right now from all this research. So, the semi-automatic weapons. Sorry, not automatic. Semi-automatic weapons. It doesn't matter. It just means somebody has to pull the trigger more. I don't really like them in certain people's hands, but again, I can't stop that. Everybody has a right to them. But I don't believe it's to stop there. That's just opening a door. Once you stop those, they'll start going after all guns. And that's where the problem is. It's not going to stop at the semi-automatics. My brain, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyways, you know what I'm saying. It's going to keep going. Semi-automatic weapons. It's not going to stop there. They're going to keep going after our weapons. And I'm not giving mine up. I'm not giving them up. I'm not giving them up. Sorry, that's going to be a fight. And I don't believe many Americans will. And they know whatever they do, they have to start small because of the repeat in history we see. Right here. I know my phone's about to beep. In every situation that I've told you in our history, it's right here. And I'm going to keep going with the history report, and it's going to keep telling you. They repeat the things they do. They regroup and repeat. They just learn to basically transcend with the time. Whatever they have to do for the time period they're in, and what people know and don't know, whether it makes it easier or harder, they find their ways to manipulate and twist and evil trickery, as I've said before. So again, if you don't think they're going to do what they've done before, just like Nazi Germany, you're wrong. It's coming again. And they're hoping this is going to be the last time they have to do this, because it's going to be for world domination, which means none of us will have any rights. They can do whatever they want, and nobody's going to pay any consequences. Now, that time hasn't come yet. So we still have time to make changes. We still have time to fight our fight. Stop agreeing with the government. Stop voting for what they want. Stop allowing them to add and change laws. It is not legal. It is not right. And it's not supposed to happen. Our rights are our rights, and you need to stand up and fight for our rights before you have none. And honestly, for you guys that don't, you really don't deserve them. If you want to, you might as well go ahead and deal with yourself, if you get my drift, and take your way out, because all that's going to happen is they're going to do it later. And that's a figure of speech, so I don't want nobody saying, oh, she's, okay with violence and she's telling people to do this and do that. No, it's a figure of speech. You might as well do it, because they're going to come after you and do it anyways. But before they do it, you're going to be tortured and violated and go through a lot of pain and suffering. So it's time for you guys to wake up. Seriously. It's coming. It's just whether you're going to allow it to end in a dark way or in a good way. This is the fight of our lives. This is the fight, and the last fight, I believe, of evil and good. If evil wins, it will take over the world. The world. All right, let's get back to this, because this is why I didn't really want to get into this, but I have to, because it's coming. The signs today, I'm telling you, are already here. There's 2 stories attacking us, which I said in previous videos many a times. Our news is going to go next, because they do not want us communicating. They do not want my news and other people's news who are telling their truth out there. They want to control, like they always have, what you're watching and hearing and seeing. And the fact that the truth is being spread, they're scared. And number 2, they're coming after our weapons, just like they've shut down our ammo. Which again is illegal, but they're doing it. Okay. Now, where was I? I'll just start at the top again. I think I was into the second one. Okay. Yeah, I'll just start at the top, because again, people could be arrested for anything or nothing. That night, around 4,000 people had been arrested and imprisoned. The same night, 4,000 people had been arrested and imprisoned and tortured by the SA. Hitler was now about to imprison communist leaders. So his main opponents during the elections, the Communist Party, fell apart. Hitler's SA intimidated the rest of the opposition, after which he pushed through the Enabling Act, which allowed him to make laws without the parliament's consent for the next 4 years. This gave Hitler absolute power. He then banned all political parties. Only the Nazi Party was allowed to exist, which again, he did this. He learned it from somebody else, which we're going to get into, I'm sure, shortly here. And again, repeat. Now they want to do it because they want us to give up our government and only be under one king, the Cabal king. And he's going to supposedly save us. No, he's not. He's going to destroy us. Okay? So again, don't fall for it. So again, it shows you history repeating itself. History repeating itself with this same group of people. Just, of course, because many have come and passed. It's the same families. It's the same names. It's the same, not exact people in their groups, but they're family members of this generation, as it is every generation. It's kept within the families. I know you've had to hear this through your time on Earth, that this group is made of a certain bloodline, and they want to keep only their bloodline at the top and in control. And they have for many of generations. Now it's time to stop it, because they're the ones causing all the grief and suffering and horror on this earth. It is not a conspiracy theory. It is not fake. It is not made up as they want you to think. Even if you Google it, it's going to tell you it's a conspiracy theory. Why? Because who owns Google? Who owns the news? Who owns the history books? Who writes the history book? Who writes the school books? Think about it. They put in there what they want you to know. They teach you what they want you to know. They put on the news, the TV, the movies, what they want you to know. And when other people put other things out, they call it conspiracy theories, because they don't want the truth out. And that's if the stuff even makes it out to whatever it is. The movies, the TV stations, the apps, whatever. Why do you think this right here, what I'm talking about, has been banned? It's been banned because they don't want people to see it. But again, there's privately owned things from people who have now their positions in power that will allow you to put it out there on their networks and their apps, so that it does get out there. And since it's banned on some places, people like me have to talk about it so we can get it out there. And I hope people are paying attention and learning something and looking into it. If you don't believe it, don't just not give it a chance. You don't believe in fairy tales, but you watch them. You don't believe that the stuff you're watching on TV every day in your TV shows is real. It's a made-up story. But you watch it. You may not believe this, but watch it and then see how you feel at the end. Go through your history lessons, a real history lesson. Look up your own research. Do your own research. It's there. It's there by the people who were there on Earth back then. They just didn't want to bring it forward. They just didn't want you to know. These are people who studied to be able to go back in history and look up these things and put it together and go over documents and see what's real and fake and what is what. And they themselves assure everyone it is real. Now, you're going to believe the people who've been tearing your world apart for generations to come, since almost the beginning of time? Or are you going to believe the people who want the truth out there so we can actually make a change for the better? All this stuff going on in the world today, right in front of you, and you don't want to see it. Why? is the denial is so much easier, but that's not how you live life. And you won't be able to live it much longer if they take control. You are not going to be able to live life at all much the same. You're going to be just another prisoner of torture, torment, and God knows what else. Let's get on with this. Okay. Then he pushed through an Enabling Act, which again left him in total power. He then banned all political parties. Only the Nazi Party was allowed to exist. The final obstruction to absolute dictatorship was dealt with on June 30th, 1934, called the Night of the Long Knives, when 400 SA members were making demands, were slaughtered by Hitler's SS. 1.5 months later, Hitler was in total control of Germany. He had become the Führer, which was president, chancellor, and head of the army. Members of the armed forces had to swear a personal allegiance, oath of allegiance to him, not Germany, to him, which is so Jesuit. Look back. Remember the oath of absolute subservience and obedience to the Supreme General, who was Hitler, really. Let's go into that. Excuse me. Hitler came from a very interesting family. His mother, and again, you're going to have to excuse me on the names because I am not good at pronouncing them at all. I've said this before many a times, and a lot of people aren't because we're not from over there. And our English pronunciation and spelling is completely different. Okay. Clara Polzel, 1837 to 1907. His father was Alois Hitler, 1837 to 1903. Alois's mother is where things get really interesting. Her name was Maria Anna Schickenglauber, 1795 to 1847. She was a simple peasant girl from a small town called Stones in Delatime. At the age of 42, she was still single. She gave birth to Alice at the time she conceived, September 1846. Maria lived in Vienna, where she worked as a servant for none other than Anselm Solomon von Rothschild. So in the way that we probably would understand this is his mother worked as a servant for none other than a Rothschild. Okay. And his birth and death dates were 1803 to 1874. As soon as the family discovered her pregnancy, she was sent right back home, where Alois was born. Maria refused to tell who the father was. It must have been someone with power, for she kept it a secret for the rest of her life. And the father did not feel the need to marry her. When Olaus was at the age of 5, Maria married Johann Gregor Hitler, 1792 to 1857. Even though many of researchers believed he was the biological father, Olaus, he never acknowledged the boy as his own. So even though people wanted to believe this was his biological father, and that's why he finally stepped up and married her, the guy never claimed him. So obviously it wasn't his son. It wasn't until the boy was 40 years old when he suddenly changed his surname to Hitler. Why wait so long? If he was truly Hitler's son, that does not make any sense at all. Olaus married Carla Posel. It was his third marriage. They had 6 children, 4 that died at a very early age. The 2 that had survived were Olaf and Paula Hitler. No one actually known for sure who the father of Olaf was. Several names had come forward: Leopold Frankenberg, Johann Nepomuk Hindler, Johann Gregory Hindler, the other guy's brother. But we have found no real evidence any of the above. I think it's of any of the above. They all seem to be used as a decoy to take away suspicion from Anselm, again, the same guy that she worked for, Solomon von Rothschild. So why do we believe it was again, I can't pronounce these names, but again, Anselm Solomon von Rothschild? Because of several indicators. First of all, I'm going to break it down over here first of all. Olaus Hitler, born June 7th, 1837, minus 9 months would be September 1836. So again, I'll go back to this. First of all, 9 months before Olaus's birth takes us to September 1836. According to the Rothschilds' archives in London, Maria worked as a maid for Anselm Solomon von Rothschild. Now there are 2 possible suspects of the rape of Maria. First, Anselm Solomon von Rothschild, 1803 to 1874, who was 33 years old at that time. Second was his father, Solomon Mayer von Rothschild, 1774 to 1855, who was 72 at the time. Now, at the time that the Rothschilds' archives shown, handwritten correspondence between the son and the London Rothschild Bank, which proves he was in Vienna at the time of the conceivement of the pregnancy, which his father, on the other hand, was in Paris. That narrows it down to 1, don't you think? Secondly, in 1876, when Olaus was 40 years old, suddenly he inherited a very large sum of money. From whom? There wasn't any money in the family. Elsem Solomon von Rothschild died 1.5 years prior to the time needed the time needed to pass pass an estate through the probate court. So the guy we think pretty much know was his father passed 1.5 years earlier, which gave the time for a probate court, which is usually the normal time, to then pass the money to him. It was the same time Olaf suddenly changed his name to Hitler. So the dad died. Not only did the money come in about the time it should go through probate court, but that's exactly when he changed his name to Hitler. Why? Was that just a coincidence? Or was it a demand by the Rothschilds in order to receive the inheritance so that he would not be traced back to the Rothschild bloodline? Because it was being kept a big secret all these years since conceivement. Now it could possibly come out. And to get his inheritance, he had to change his name so that it looked like Hitler, his dad Hitler, was his real father. So there would be no more questions, and nobody tried to trace him back and find out that he's really a Rothschild. There is your real history. Okay, so was it a demand by the Rothschilds in order to receive his inheritance so that he would not be traced back to the Rothschild bloodline? I believe so. Now, please bear in mind that officially the Rothschilds were Jewish. They were the Babylonian Khazars that converted to the Jewish faith under the pressure of the Russian king. Call them fake Jews if you like. But to the outside world, Adolf Hitler's father was half Jewish. Adolf, did I say that right? Hitler's father was half Jewish. If this ever came to light, it would be one hell of a scandal. And that's what they were afraid of. And it would ruin a lot of plans, many, many years of planning and control and domination and power and money. Okay. So all traces of the Führer Adolf Hitler's leading to the Rothschilds had been erased. In 1921, the Munich Post intercepted a pamphlet that circulated among the early members of Hitler's Nazi Party, the NSDAP. The pamphlet titled was Adolf Hitler Traitor. It talked about the alleged Jewish blood in Hitler's veins. It accused Hitler of fronting for Jewish financiers and for acting like a Jew himself. The I'm sorry. The Munich Post decided to publish the pamphlet. And guess what happened? Who controls what to this day? The Munich Post decided to publish the pamphlet. On the very next day, Hitler became chancellor. The Munich Post was ransacked. And its editors and writers were sent off to I was going to get stuck on one of these words, concentration camps, where they were never heard from again. Let me just look and see what I wrote here. Shows here to stop to. Oh. It was a note to myself saying basically what I'd said. Here's your truth. This is the truth on what they did to news people back then. Just like now, if you talk about certain things and you do work for a station, your career ends really fast. Like you never existed. If you talk about it like I'm talking about it, they're going to try to shut us down. And here we go. The first news report. And first time somebody's taken somebody to court knowing they're not going to win. But they did it to put that out there so that people will start saying, yeah, it's dangerous, and giving them more control to try to pull our civil rights. Don't fall for it. They know they got to be more clever now than they were before. They just can't go in, assassinating people. We're too far in advance than they were back then. So they get into here, they start planting seeds, they start getting people wound up, and then they come after your rights. And it's you people out there that fall for it and then not only violate your own rights, but violate everybody else's rights by going, yeah, we need to do this. It's what's best. Because who says so? Who? It's just like the Wizard of Oz. The Joker behind the freaking, what do you call it? Shade? Curtain? There's a Joker behind the curtain making all these decisions and promising you all these things and telling you all these lies. And y'all are sitting there like the Scarecrow and Dorothy and the Lion and Tin Man just soaking it up. Yeah, they're going to give us everything. Yeah, we need to stand up and fight for this, and that's right, and this is wrong, and whatever. Think for yourself and think about your rights and think about what's been violated and taken from you for so long and how they keep doing it and how you just keep handing it over and things keep getting worse. And the more promises they make you, the more BS that comes out of their mouth, the more you believe it, and yet nothing ever happens and nothing ever changes. Just like they want to put up minimum wage. But look at the gas prices. Look at the prices of things in the store. Look at your taxes. Do you think it's ever going to put you ahead? You either break even or you're still in the same freaking spot you were before. Fake promises. Okay. I don't want to do too much rant and raving. Let's get back to this. Because I know I'm running out of time. Okay. The editors and writers were sent to trade. The Australian Chancellor, Engelbert Dolofs, I think is how you say it, Dolofs, that's how they were saying it in that, 1892 to 1934, investigated Hitler's family origins on two occasions. The first investigation, published in 1932, determined Hitler's father was illegitimate born to a determined Hitler's father was illegitimate, born to a 40. That's right. I was thinking something else. Sorry. Let me start over again. Investigated Hitler's family origin on 2 occasions. The first investigation, published in 1932, determined Hitler's father was illegitimate, born to a 42-year-old unmarried woman and an unknown father. The second determined that Hitler's mother, Adolf's grandmother, was employed as a domestic servant in the residence of Barn Rothschild of Vienna. Shortly after Hitler ordered the assassination of Doloff in 1934, he knew he was getting too close, and he knew he would probably end up proving it, so he ordered his assassination. Adolf Hitler once told his nephew, William Patrick Hitler, "These people must not know who I am. You must not know where I come from and which family." That says it all, don't you think? As soon as he was investigated and the investigation got too close, he had the other chancellor murdered. Then he told his, nephew, I believe. Yeah, nephew William Patrick Hitler, "These people must not know who I am. You must not know where I come from and which family I am from." In an effort to erase any evidence that would lead Hitler back to the Rothschilds, not only were people murdered, but the entire village of Dallertheim, where Hitler's grandmother came from, was completely destroyed on Hitler's order. Adolf Hitler, the Fuhrer, did not come out of nowhere. But they want you to think that. And the investigation that's been done now shows you exactly where he's come from. And I'll repeat that because of the beep. This investigation shows you exactly where he actually came from. He is a Rothschild. There's no other explanation. The timelines match up. The evidence matches up. And when one person got too close, the chancellor, he was murdered. People don't murder you if you're not close to the discovery that they don't want you to know. Okay. Again, Hitler did not come out of nowhere. We believe he was a Rothschild. Maybe an illegitimate one, but nonetheless, he was a Rothschild. Okay, let's see. I'm going to stop there because I believe the next section goes into a new story. So since we're so close to the end, we are going to leave it off here. And I really wish you guys would join and subscribe, the ones that are watching that are not already subscribed, so that we could actually get this channel together and start doing some lives, because I would love to go over this with an actual group. It would be so much better to be able to break this down and discuss it with each other and talk about it. Whether you believe or not believe, let's get through it. let's talk about it, and let's see how you feel at the end after all the evidence is out there and we've discussed it all and we've communicated about it and had deep discussions and looked through all the evidence. Like I said, let's do this. Let's get together and see what we can, come up with, discuss, talk about, feelings, on the situation, information you may have to add to this, whatever it may be. I really am wanting to have people discussing this together and being able to pick each other's brains and see how each other feels in their comments. And again, there's no other way to say it, discuss it, put out our own feelings and ideas and thoughts in it. I only get to say mine, but I would like to know yours. So again, subscribe, get some friends to subscribe, some family members to subscribe, whoever you think would be interested in these talks. Please, I'm asking you to build us a group, help build a group that can just, brainstorm and give more information maybe that you have. There's another documentary I'm going to go into after this one that's it kind of adds to this one, but it's different people. And I can't wait to start that. But this one, I wish I would have known was so long, because I would have maybe started with the other one first, just because it's shorter. But I think it'll fit perfectly time-wise, doing it this way anyways. So anyways, I got this marked off for tomorrow. I'll add these to the already read ones, and we'll pick up again tomorrow. I really do enjoy doing this. I really do enjoy getting the word out there and spreading information that needs to be spread. I enjoy the time on here. I just wish I already had a group to discuss it with and brainstorm with. So again, if you feel that this is an interesting channel and an interesting subject for you, please spread the word. Please share my videos. Let's get a group built. Let's start talking about it. And everybody has a right to an opinion, whether you agree, disagree, it doesn't matter to me. I want you to be able to discuss it. And even if you don't agree, I'm good with that. Everybody has a right to their own opinion. I would like to see if I could change it. Again, I also wanted to say real quick before I go, I had these thoughts, even as I go through this documentary. I already knew all this. I had these thoughts and feelings since I was young, and I don't know why that is. And the more I read, it's like the more that I know and already knew, and like I'm just rereading something I already knew. It's very odd for me, and I want to know if any of you feel that way, that do believe, if you kind of knew this before. And so I wasn't shocked to hear about this or the documentary, and it's really nothing new to me, just the details are new to me. And of course the names, I don't know that language. When I hear it, it sounds right. I cannot repronounce it. Sometimes I do, but it is hard for me. I'm not, like if I lived over there, basically, I would know how they roll their letters and stuff like that. I don't know how to do that or speak in their dialect. So anyways, I gotta get out of here. That time is ticking. I love you guys. I can't wait till tomorrow. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Please bring some more people by. Subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Please try to thumbs up the videos so that I get credit for it. And I will see you guys on my next video. I love you. Have a great night. Take care.